Hello, welcome to God's Junk Drawer. I'm Cody. It is a cold, wet, and dark day today, so we're going to work on finishing up our wiring, and then next time we can get our solar installed so we can get some heat in here while we work. So we're going to get to it after I finish my coffee. Before I get solar going in the building, I'm running off my inverter in my car. And I won't go through this whole setup because I got a video on this, but my car has a battery in it. So I have a rolling power station and it's got solar charging right now. So this works really nice until I have solar in the building. I can just run my cord inside. And then boom, I've got power. Look at that. So I can make some coffee here in the morning. I've got a fan for when it gets warm. I think those days might be past, but we absolutely have to get a shot of Zoe in her sweater. Hello, sweater Zoe. Aren't you cute? All right, last we left off with the electrical. We were right at the kitchen end here. So I've got insulation in as well, but this goes and wires down to our down outlet here and around the wall to this one, and then around and up. That's where the inverter will sit. So this side is going to go for our true 15 amp here. So we do have one outlet and then our light switch, and our light goes up there, and so we'll have one light here, and then again where we end our outlet by the front door here, we go up to our light switch, and then the same deal. We'll go 1, 2, 3 lights across. So we'll have our solar wire come in here basically. Our solar wire will then go to the charger, and the charger will go to the battery, and the battery will go to the inverter, and the inverter will sit basically right here. So we have our cable ready to go, plug into the inverter, and that will be where all of our electricity comes from. And the inverter has an on and off switch on its own. Now we're going to put our actual outlets in. For this we're going to need one of those pliers, a Phillips screwdriver, and some wire strippers. One thing you can do is when I took the 5 inches of jacket off of it, you can do your wire stripping right at that time, which will make it a little bit easier. I always tend to forget that. I talked about this accordion fold too. So when you bring your cables in for the first time, you're going to want to fold them in. So that way when you go to use them, you're just pulling them out, doing what you need to, and then you should be able to push them in. If you don't do this at the beginning, it's just going to make it, when you push everything into the box, more difficult for you. So first we will strip our wires. And if you have the yellow jacket cable, you're going to be at a 12 gauge. If you have the white jacket cable, you're going to be at a 14 gauge. And you want to take about 2 inches off of here. That's why I said, like, if you strip it ahead of time, it's a little bit easier. You don't have to try to maneuver around this box. But again, if you always forget like me too, not a big deal. Now that we have all our wires stripped, we're going to organize them to get them in place for wiring. So on your outlets, you're going to always have a silver side and a black side. When you do any wiring, BB, black brass, black brass, black brass. That's going to always be your trick to remember, BB, black brass. Hot wire, when you wear black outside in the sun, it gets hot, hot, hot. Gets hot, hot, hot when you wear black. Black brass, hot, hot, hot when you wear it in the sun. That's how you're going to always remember your connection points. When you actually do these wires, it doesn't matter. So both blacks are going to go on this side, and it doesn't matter which is top or bottom. And then both whites, the neutrals, will go on the silver side, black brass. So now that we know our blacks are on the right and our whites are on the left, and our ground is on the left at the bottom. We're just going to organize our wires in that fashion to make it easy for us. So this one feels like, so this one naturally goes to the bottom, so I'm just going to, wherever the box naturally fits it is kind of what I'm doing for my outlets. So this is going to be my top white and my bottom white, and then all of my grounds need to go underneath. So underneath, so grounds at the bottom, white on the side. So right there, kind of have my cables organized how I'm going to want to wire them, which is going to make it easier now. Alright, got the ground wire done. That one is the worst of it for me because I have 2 wires and I am using the 12 gauge. If you are using 14 gauge wire, your life is going to be a lot easier for this part. One of the important things when you're putting these wires on, you're not putting straight wires onto these cables. You're making a tiny little hook. When you're screwing in, see this way I'm turning this direction, right? So I want my curve of my cane to go with the way I'm twisting. You want it to pull the wire, not push the wire. But so the black on the right hand side, I'm going to be having the curl go up and away, but on this side when I'm screwing, right, I'm going this direction. So on these curls I want the J's to go down and away from me. So just kind of think of like whichever side you're working on, the side you're screwing on, just remember that, so it's always going to be up and away, down and towards. So let me show you that. So when I put this into, I always just put the wire right on my thumb to get the very edge of the needle nose, and then I put my finger flat underneath to give myself just a surface to roll on, right? And then I just roll straight over till it's what essentially feels like flat across. It should be a J, a cane, shepherd's hook, tons and tons of names. So see, curl up and away on the right side, but on this side, now watch, I'm going to go down and towards, okay, down and towards, down and away, I should say. Okay, so see these hooks? Beautiful. So I'll show you now what we're looking at. So now I'll put my hook on, and now when I screw it in place, it is going to grab the wire instead of push the wire, and make sure we have a tight, secure, great connection. So we pulled our wire, and that looks great. Let's see if we can show it on this side now with the neutral. I can't see very well from this angle. Let's see how we do. There we go. Let's see, does this hug the camera view work? Let's try this out. Okay. So, yep, now our hooks are going down. And then you can see it kind of pulls the cable in the right direction, so it's always nice and secure there. Okay, last black live wire here. All right, and then now with this kind of accordion thing we did before, we can just kind of push it back in. Oh, that one's not quite as nice as I was hoping, but there we go. That works well. I like to make sure I double check everything. So at this point, I'm not screwing my screws in all the way. I'm basically just pushing my outlet to make sure my wires fit and everything. And then once I have all my outlets done, I'm going to go around and double check and just say, yep, up black to brass, neutral silver, got my ground cable, once I double check, I'm like, yes, this outlet is set, then I screw it in all the way to, that's my know that I double checked it. So we've got this, we'll do a light switch, and then these are all basically the same, so we'll only show you one of these. Blessing break! God delivers his blessings in many ways, even through the smallest of his creatures. I am blessed to have Bowser in my life every day, but this week especially, because it is Bowser's birthday week. Bowser turns 2 this week, so happy Hatch Day, Bowser. Got a kissy? Love you. What a sweet boy. Here we're putting in a light switch. This is right by the front door. Same thing, we're going to start by stripping our cables. Your light switch outlet's going to look different. Might be on the sides here. Might have them both here. But again, we're just following our same rule. BB, black to brass, black to brass, black to brass. All right, let's make our shepherd hooks. Let's see. This way. This one doesn't have an on-off written on it. This must be the cheapest light switch in the world. Our in, we're going to put on the right hand side. So we're going to have our shepherd hook go this way, up and away, and then this one down. Okay. Up and away on the right hand side. And down on the left. Now switch is very simple. We have our hots connected, black to brass, and our switch is going to be right. So right now there's no electricity going between the two of them, and now we complete the circuit and there is electricity going through. And our common neutral wire is just going to go ahead and pass through the box. So on a light switch, we don't do anything with our white wire other than connect them together. When we put our nut on, we want our wires to start kind of flat together. If you need to use your needle nose at this point, do that. And then these should just twist. As long as you're using the right size, these work quite well. All right, that is nice and snug. The other thing you're going to want to check for is just to make sure that you didn't take too much jacket off anything. Where all your screws are and everything, you shouldn't see jacket coming out. So right here, this is perfect, this is great. But like if you have jacket exposed to here and you have bare wire, then just go ahead and throw a little bit of electrical tape on there. Because when you push everything into the box, if you screwed up your white like that and you screwed up your black like that, when you push it in, who knows what wires are going to kind of be touching. You know, it might not even be a direct touch, so it might just, you know, little zap shorts. So it's going to create big problems for you if you have any of that wire exposed. Obviously your copper, your ground bare wire, there goes my light. Your copper wire doesn't matter. I think I got what I needed. And again, I'm not going to screw this in all the way right now. I will just put this in the box a little bit to know that I've wired it. And then I will double check my wiring before I actually fully screw this in. Always good to double check. And when it comes to electricity, I am not quite as confident as I am with my woodworking skills, so I triple check all my electrical. Electrical wiring is coming along real nicely. Last thing to do on the wall portion is the fuse box, which that'll just be installing a breaker switch there. Then that will be set to plug into all the solar components. Then I have to do the overhead wiring and overhead lights. Just gonna go with simple LED lights there. Ceiling insulation, that'll be kind of the next thing when I do the wiring. And yeah, getting very close to solar. Feel like I've been saying that to myself for a while now, but I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. See you on the next one.